You know, often when we do Discover Jazz series, yes, we have themes. Like, you know, one of the last ones we did was sort of the great record labels, and we, you know, one week we focused on Verve, and the next week we focused on Blue Note, next week, you know, Impulse, et cetera, et cetera. And of course, we are working and talking about, you know, the Black musical diaspora. And of course, we are talking about, you know, Black people, Black Americans, right? But when we are tackling this theme of Afrofuturism, we're really looking at the existence of Blackness in a very different way. The idea of the cross-section between the past and the present of people of Blackness in the world, and then imagining futures or imagining situations, imagining scenarios, imagining worlds where Blackness is not boxed in or inhibited by what the past was or what the present is. It was really envisioning what the future could be. This is a very broad topic, right? And there are so many themes within this idea of what Afrofuturism is and what that can look like. The first tune we're going to do is an interesting one because the origin of this song is by percussionist Mongo Santamaria. And the piece is entitled Afro Blue. Now, a lot of people, if you know jazz, if you've listened to jazz before, this is a song that will come across, you know, certainly your playlist of music at some point in time. It is a classic jazz standard. It is one that if you play jazz, you've definitely played this song before and probably have played it a lot. And this is a song, you know, that actually has some, you know, connection and roots here. You know, Mongo Santamaria spent a lot of time with the Cal Tjader Orchestra, Cal Tjader Sextet, and a lot of that work was done right here in Northern California. You know, the first recorded performance of this song was actually in Carmel in 1959 at a place called the Sunset Auditorium. So a lot of history with this piece of music in the Bay Area. But the version we're going to do today is one that actually is becoming sort of a new standard. And part of the reason is because of its recent, you know, sort of remixing and reevaluation and reinterpretation of this tune by the great pianist and composer and arranger Robert Glasper. And if you think about someone who in a lot of ways embodies what Afrofuturism is, Robert Glasper is that person. If you've listened to interviews, if you know his music. So I love this song. I love the way this song fits with the theme of what we're talking about tonight. And then the other side of this, the reason that this song has become such a popular piece, not just because of Glasper's success. You know, he's won a bunch of Grammys. He won an Oscar. He's been nominated for all kinds of things. I mean, he's a fantastically brilliant musician. But the other part of this is you have this brilliant vocal on top of it by Erykah Badu. And Erykah Badu, I think, is another one who epitomizes the idea of what Afrofuturism is. This is a singer that when she, you know, hit the scene in the 90s with Baduism, that first record, you know, she was a poet, she was a singer, the way she dressed and carried herself was a combination of the old and the new with a little bit of Dallas and a little bit of Philadelphia and a little bit of New York. And she took people on this journey with her voice and with her music. Her music didn't sound like anything else before, and yet it sounded like Black music so concretely. And these two combined, you know, reimagine this version of the great Mongo Santamaria tune, Afro Blue. So that's what we're going to start our setup with tonight. Once again, thanks for joining us. We're happy to have you here. Let me tune and get some sound in my guitar, and then we'll jump into this piece.
elegant boy, beautiful girl. Dancing for joy, elegant twirl. Shades of delight, go, go, you. Rich as the night, Afro blue. Two young lovers are face to face with undulating grace. They gently sway and slip away to some secluded place. Shades of delight, oh, you. Rich as the night, Afro blue.
shades of delight. Go, go, you. rich as the night, Afro blue. Lovers in flight, upwards they glide. First up the heights, slowly subside. Shades of delight, oh, go you. Rich as the night, Afro blue. And my summer and fantasies of some reality, until it seems it's not a dream, the two of you and me. Shades of delight, oh, oh, rich as the night, Afro
We're going to do a tune by Stevie Wonder, the great Stevie Wonder. This is from the album Inner Visions. The title is Visions. 16th album from singer and songwriter and composer and multi-instrumentalist and yada, 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 yada. Stevie Wonder. This record was released on August 3rd, which is my birthday. Not the year I was born. The album's a little bit older than I am, but on the same day. It's a part of Tamala Records, which was a division of Motown, if you know your record label history. And this is a part of what's considered kind of Stevie's classic period, right? And this is an album that has been often regarded as, completing, Stevie's transformation from, sort of little Stevie Wonder, right? Steveland, right? His transition into maturity and adulthood and becoming a grown-up artist, right? Mature, socially conscious, and hugely influential, of course, on the sound of black music. Stevie Wonder has been, for decades now. And, of course, this album, multi-Grammy award-winning record. But on the record, you hear, lyrics and composition that are really reaching another level of speaking to the themes that, not just plague humanity, but certainly plague the black community. Drug abuse, inequality, systemic racism, but also love and hope and joy. Stevie did a lot, of course, on this album. Like most of Stevie's albums, he played all, if not all, the instruments on the record. Such a talented force. And Stevie Wonder is another one of those composers, right? Even if you don't study, music theory and you don't understand chord harmony and things like that, just the way that Stevie carried himself and the way that he wrote music always spoke to the past and to the history of Black America, right? And to the Black American experience. But he was always looking forward in a very interesting and unique and creative and visionary kind of way. And that's really what this theme continues to be about. And this particular song, of course, is one that encompasses so much of that as well. So does the entire record. Lots of firsts on this record, including, using kind of the sounds of the street and traffic around to sort of be a part of the music as well. So up next for us, the great Stevie Wonder and Visions.
it's a dream and love forever stands. Was this a vision in my mind? The laws never pass, but somehow all men feel they're truly free at last. Have we really gone this far through space and time? Is this visions in my mind? I'm not one who make believes. I know that leaves are green. They only turn to brown when autumn comes around. I know just what I'd say. Today's not yesterday, and all things have an ending. But what I'd like to know is, could a place like this exist so beautiful? Do we have to find our wings and fly away to the visions in our minds? green. They only turn to brown when autumn comes around. I know just what I'd say. Today's not yesterday, and all things have an ending. But what I'd like to know is, could a place like this exist so beautiful? Do we have to find our way to find a way to the visions in our mind?
The next tune we're going to do is by one of my favorite artists, favorite modern artists, and someone who continues to just redefine what it means to be a black artist in 2024. This is Janelle Monáe. Yeah. I mean, we could have did the entire night on with Janelle Monáe for sure. This is an artist, if you don't know, who, where do I even begin? Who, defies all barriers and boundaries and expectations of what it means to be black and queer and an artist and a musician and an actor and all of those things, all while drawing on this deep, deep well of sort of black American music and black American artistry that came before Janelle Monáe. A tremendous, tremendous artist. And this particular piece that we chose, we also chose this piece, I think, in part because it ties very well into another artist that we could have spent an entire series or an entire night on, and that's the great Prince. And Prince was a huge influence for Janelle Monáe in general. And you listen to a lot of Monáe's music and you can hear that influence of not just sort of 80s pop in general, but specifically, the kind of artistry that Prince was doling out to the world in the 1980s and early 90s. And, this particular piece, Make Me Feel, has those influences. And if you were into music at that period in time and what 80s Prince and Sheila E. and Morris Day and the Time and all those bands meant to black America and to black music in general. And I do love it when we get to actually expand out, even in the House of Jazz. We get to expand out and explore more of the black American musical diaspora. And it always, always makes me smile because this is, so much of who I am and so much of who we are in this audience. Even though we are here at SFJAZZ in the hallowed halls of jazz, black music is black music and good music is good music. This is Janelle Monáe, Make Me Feel.
Baby, don't make me spell it out for you. All of the feelings that I got for you can't be explained, but I can try for you. Yeah, baby, don't make me spell it out for you. You kept on asking me the same questions and second guessing all my intentions. You know by the way I use my compression, you got the answers to my confessions. It's like I'm powerful with a little bit of tender and emotional sexual bender. Mess me up, but one does it better. You got me right here in your jean pocket. Laying your body on the shade carpet. Ooh, you know I love it, so please don't stop. It's like I'm powerful with a little bit of tender and emotional sexual bender. Mess me up and no one does it better. There's nothing better. That's just the way you make me feel. That's just the way you make me feel. Oh, good, so fucking real. That's just the way you want to impress me. Can't be too flirty, mama. I know how to undress me. Yeah. I wanna be your fantasy. Leave it all up to me. We can have a good time. Hey, you don't have to be rich to be my girl. You don't have to be cruel to rule my world. No particular sign I'm more compatible with. I just want your extra time and your kiss. Women and girls rule my world, where they rule my world. At your age, not your shoe size. Maybe we can do the twirl. Don't have to watch down the sea to have an attitude. Yeah, you just leave it all up to me. Love would be your food. Hey, don't have to be rich to be my girl. You don't have to be cruel to rule my world. Ain't no particular sign I'm more compatible with. I just want your extra time and your kiss. Thank you.
Daria Johnson, drums. Daria Johnson, drums. Allegra Bandy. Joshi Marshall, Kevin Wong, Troy Lampkins. This next artist is one that, has a long history in the music, actually, from, I guess, probably the early 90s-ish. And this is an artist that I stumbled upon when, they kind of made their way into the world in this sort of pseudo R&B, pseudo pop kind of way. And I love that this person has had such a resurgence in the last couple years. Mechelle Ndegeocello is just talk about the definition of an artist, of a creative, someone who continually explores the depths of what Black music is, what Black culture is, and then just reinvents it over and over again. The way they approach, the way they dress, and the way they sing, and the way they play bass, and the way they write harmony, and the way they write melody is all just on some other kind of futuristic, creative thing that we are, and it's always mind-blowing. And so Mechelle Ndegeocello, born in D.C., attended the Duke Ellington School of the Arts for high school. And Ndegeocello's influences include jazz and soul and funk and hip-hop and reggae and rock. Won many, many Grammys. But really the body of work is one that explores the entirety of the Black American musical diaspora, but then always puts a brand new, creative, futuristic spin on it. And when Ndegeocello released the Omnichord Real Book, which was her first as a leader for Blue Note, it really kind of turned the music world on its head, because this, again, is an album that features folks like guitarist Jeff Parker and our very own, Bay Area's very own Ambrose Akinmusire, and vibraphonist Joel Ross and Jason Moran on piano. And these are all musicians who, spend their time in jazz, in blues, in funk, in soul, in improvised music, in music that is spontaneously composed, right? but they're also artists who have some kind of outlook toward the musical world, the artistic world, that is always pushing ahead and looking and searching for new places to explore. And now the tune we're going to do really, in so many ways, is an Afrofuturist journey. The piece is entitled Virgo. And much like, we started, in some ways it's really symbolic, right? Because we started this series with Wayne Shorter on night one. And one of the songs we played in that night was Wayne Shorter, a tune by Wayne Shorter entitled Virgo, right? Which is his astrological sign, and really spoke to Wayne's sort of exploration of the cosmos and Wayne's exploration of what it means to be black, but also what it means to think about what life for black people would be on Mars, or what life would be like on some far distant place that didn't have the constraints of today's society. And some of the very first lyrics in this song are, "They're calling me back to the stars, deep out of space. I can see you, I can hear you, I can touch you, I can feel you. They found peace in the ocean, right? And they got my way, they got my way. Travel way too far, too often, thinking of myself away, envisioning days and Celeste, milking wound love, find means to last. This fuel are alive, the arc is full, rage and talent, dealing with everything, right? Jumping through silent hoops, they're calling me back to the stars." I mean, it is an Afrofuturist journey. This is Mechelle Ndegeocello. The piece is Virgo.
They're calling me back to the stars, deep out of space. They're calling me. I can see, I can hear you. I can touch, I can feel you. I can hear you. They found peace in the ocean. They got no way, they got no way. They found peace in the ocean. They got my way, I got my way. They're calling me back to the stars, deep out of space. They're calling me. Wait for love to show her face. Let it go. Wait for love to show her face. Let it go. Wait for love to show her face. Wait for love to show her face. Too far, too often thinking myself away, envisioning days in Celeste, milky mother moon, and find my means to last. This fuel are alive, and arc is full of rage and talent, dealing with everything. Jumping through silent hoops, revealing the birth I gave to her. Supernova, super steady. I'll go any and everywhere. Dots on a map, create impression pictures on a life we all came from. That's me, that's free, that's it, that's love. That's a star. That's birth I gave. Give. They're calling me back to the stars, deep outer space. They're calling me the stars. I give you flowers, stars. I give you flowers, stars.
Daria Johnson, Joshi Marshall, Allegra Bandy, our special guest, Mr. Troy Lampkins on the bass, Kevin Wong on the keys. We thank you for being a part of this series. We thank you for hanging out with us, for spending time with us. You know, we are humbly thankful. We know that it takes your time, your money, your energy to come out, spend this time with us, learn a little bit, go on the musical journey. And we are really, really grateful. This organization thanks you. We as artists on this stage thank you. The education wing of SFJAZZ thanks you. So please give yourselves a big hand for supporting SFJAZZ, for supporting this series, for supporting these artists.
Hey everyone, Terrence Blanchard here. Thanks for watching and for your support of SFJAZZ at home. We hope you enjoyed the concert, and there's a lot more to watch right here, in addition to dozens more concerts available on demand. We've got a great Fridays live streaming schedule coming up. Most of these live streams will be added to the on-demand library within a week. We also have a bunch of new video series to check out. Drop the Needle, where we test the musical knowledge of artists with classic vinyl records. In My Mind, where you enter the mind of an artist while they improvise. The Breakdown, where artists break down a musical concept at 3 levels of difficulty. And Family Matinees, where the Bay Area's best musicians give kid-friendly concerts with a Q&A. Last note, if you dig the SFJAZZ at home experience, tell your people. Our mission is to bring this music to as many folks as possible all around the world. Again, thanks for your support, and stay tuned.